Okay, and I think we are live. Hello. Welcome back to another live. We're going to talk about the Nero Book Prize, which is very exciting. So if you're there, then say hello in the comments. I'm sure they need no introduction, but I'm here today with... No, I forgot to write that.
We still can't do it.
Charlie, from the lovely Charlie Book Reads, and Alice, I can definitely do down, from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. And we're just going to natter about the brand new Nero Book Awards. The shortlists came out today, and we just wanted to talk to you all about it because it's a book prize and it's us.
Can't stop ourselves, even if we want to.
Any less. We've got the lovely Ariane. Hello.
Hey, Ariane.
Oh, and Kate's here. Hi, Kate.
Hey,
And Jennifer. Lovely to see you all. Getting very nostalgic feels from the blog. So, if we start with what is the Nero Book Prize? So, if you guys aren't aware, the Nero Book Prize is brand new this year, first year that it's run, and it's almost filling the whole of the Costa, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'd say.
So we were really excited. Charlie, when she found out, she was like, "We've got to do a live." Me and Alice was like, "Yay!"
And then we dragged Alice along.
Yeah. And so we're here to talk about it. Charlie, you've got some dates and some background info, I believe.
Yeah. So obviously we've got 4 different categories this year. We have the non-fiction, the fiction, the debut fiction, and the children's fiction, which are all lovely categories. I think they're ones that we're all interested in. And then each category, for those that you don't know, there'll be a category winner announced the 16th of January. So yeah, the shortlists will all be going down, and will each have a winner. That winner each category winner will win £5,000. And then at the end of February, all of the category winners will be pitted against each other for an overall winner for the Nero Book Prize, and that will be announced at the end of February. And that winner will get £30,000, which is very exciting.
Very exciting. And we'll talk about all of the categories in a bit more detail in a minute. But I think overall thoughts, Alice. What were your overall thoughts on the shortlists?
Yeah, I'm excited to see a new prize. Excited to see one that isn't I don't know, it's just nice to have something new, isn't it? Because it doesn't have any negative connotations for you already, sort of thing. Any prejudices you might have already amassed. And it's nice to have a different format, I think. I like the idea of the 4 categories of 4. Feels very manageable if you want to pick one category to read 4 books from. That's very doable by January, I think. Yeah, and I'm excited to see lots of books that I hadn't heard of on the lists. A couple of books I had heard of. I think they're interesting lists.
Charlie, what do you reckon?
I would just second that. Yeah, I think coming into it, I've been most excited for the non-fiction, probably the children's fiction. Those 2 sort of categories I've been most excited for. But yeah, overall, all of them, I'm very I think they're great lists. So,
yeah,
very exciting.
Guys, in the comments, please share any thoughts. We've got the lovely Angie here from Reading Off My Shelf. Happy knitter, hello, lovely to see you all together again. Thanks. It's actually really nice to be back together again. It feels like a long time.
You won't be saying that in come midway next year.
In June, I'll be like, I'm so sick of you. No, I won't. Oh dear, Katya's waving. Hi, Katya. And we've got Ellen, and we've got Jess.
Hi, everyone.
So I think maybe we'll just go straight in to talking about some of the categories. My mouse is going a bit weird. Give me 1 second. We'll start with children's fiction. So just before we came live, we were all just saying that probably 3 of the 4 are more YA than what we would class as children's or middle grade. but I don't think we're super disappointed with that. Well, I'm certainly not super disappointed with that. I think the titles sound really interesting. We've got Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher, Bitterthorn by Kat Dunn, Wild Song by Candy Gourlay, and The Swifts by Beth Lincoln. And one of today's hosts has read one of those books.
Ta-da! Yeah, it was fun. I think it was a fun read. The only mild criticism I have of it is that it's like 400 pages. So I feel like I feel like it could have been cut down a little bit. Just being honest, like I did enjoy it, but I just think it could have just maybe lost a little bit of it, like a little bit, just for me, but personally. But I have an attention span of a gnat, so what can you say? Yeah, it was fun, and I like the pink spreaders on it. So, it's queer. It's a queer YA kind of romance kind of thing. So yeah, that I loved. I thought the characters were really good, but I think the plot just waned a little bit in places. I think, but I mean, I shouldn't put you off reading if you want to, because I still think it's a good book.
Yeah. I'd love to know who in the comments is planning on reading any of the children's section. I don't know. I would say probably the majority of people who subscribe to us don't read a huge amount of children's or YA. So just from a personal interest perspective.
The only thing with this list is that one that I was kind of expecting to be on there. I don't know what you guys think in terms of things that are missing. Impossible Creatures by Catherine Rundell. I was sure that was going to be listed. I think Alice said something. Maybe you thought maybe that was going to be.
It's getting a lot of love at the moment, isn't it? And has it won something else? Did it win the Books on My Bag one?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
I think it did. I think it won children's on that quite recently. But yeah, it's been getting a lot of hype, hasn't it? And it's a very beautiful looking book.
Indeed. So I'm just having a look at the blurb for Bitterthorn. Apologies for not being more organised. It's been a busy day. But it looks like this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling with sort of a queer element to it.
Yeah, I've got witches written down. It says witches and then queer and so yeah.
Oh yeah, witches, queer, Beauty and the Beast. I mean, it's ticking all my boxes, to be fair.
I think with these children's books as well, in terms of length, they're all sort of sitting around 300 to 400 pages. So nothing super long, but again, nothing equally so, nothing super short. So that's something to be noted.
It looked a little bit too romantic fantasy-ish for me, but just from a personal point of view of what I like reading. I did like the inspired by classic fairy tales line that I saw on the website. But then I was like, oh, darkly romantic fairy tale world. Do I want to read that? But that's just me.
Yeah, I do worry about the level of angst. We all know Gemma does not like angst. So yeah, I think you're right, Alice. It could sway a bit too much that way.
An incredibly popular area of YA literature at the moment, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's super popular. Oh, hang on. Did I say hello to Rebecca? Hello. And Amelia, hello. Katya's saying that she loves the sound of the YA ones. The Swifts one sounds most like for kids. Yes, agree.
That's the one I want to read most, actually.
I'd say that's probably the lowest on my list.
Just because I love, I'm really into my cozy books at the moment. I really want something just relaxing. You guys know this. So.
Yeah.
And also, it was telling me it was a murder mystery. So I was like, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, to be fair.
It just sounds really fun, especially for December. I feel like that would be a really good December book.
I also feel like I've enjoyed some YA mysteries to some extent, but this feels like it's actually a middle grade mystery, and I haven't read a lot of those, so I'm quite interested.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The idea of LGBTQ set in medieval times sounds cool. Yeah, agree.
Definitely check it out. It's good.
Yeah, don't see myself reading the children's books until next year. Fair. Fair.
I don't think this is a gem book, though, being honest. I know I said that like everyone else should read it, but I don't think you should read it because it does not feel like a gem book. I think it would annoy you a bit much. Sorry.
Yeah, I have to say it's probably on the lower end of my books that I want to get to from all of the categories, but some of it will depend on availability from like Libby and things. So 2 children ones being set in the Philippines, and the one Charlie was holding up. Oh, so the 2 children one. So yes, Charlie, your one, and the Philippines one, which is Wild Song. So that's the one I am most interested in, set in the 1900s in the Philippines, following a young teenager who's part of a tribe. So it just sounds like Gemma catnip. Jennifer saying, I quite like queer YA because it didn't really exist back in my day yet. Yeah. I do love that there is more of that available. I just prefer like queer adult, you know. Medical is medieval, autocorrect. Yeah.
No. You didn't even notice. So
we didn't. Oh dear. So those are the 4 for children's. I feel like this is probably the category we've got the least to say about, just because they're all quite self-explanatory. So unless you 2 have anything to add on that category,
I think so.
Children,
let's move to debut fiction. So interestingly, this is the one where there are 2 books on here that I was already very aware of. I think actually the 2 that I had heard of were nominated for the Waterstones debut, right?
yes.
The New Life and Close to
Close
Home.
to Home and The New Life, yeah.
Yeah. And Charlie, you've nearly read one of those.
Did Close to Home win the Waterstones prize?
No. In Memoriam won. Yeah, this lots of other people have loved this, and I kept it because I do want to try and reread it, but I just wasn't in the mood for it when I read it because it's largely very plotless. It's character driven, set in Ireland, and obviously I'd read Trespasses, which kind of, those of us that have read Trespasses know it's largely plotless, slow paced, and set in Ireland. So I just wasn't. I needed something different when I shouldn't have picked this up. But loads of other people love this, so yeah. I will try and read it. Again. I
do fear that I will not like that one because I didn't like Trespassers and I didn't like The Colony.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just it's more about the characters, and it does talk about like obviously masculinity in like a different way, that kind of thing. So that's like it has got interesting elements in it. It's just that it didn't have enough.
Don't really feel that drawn to that one.
No, me either. I think I heard someone describe it as an Irish Shuggy Bane.
I wouldn't even. That's what excited me, and actually, because I love Shuggy Bane, and I was really excited by that. When someone said Irish Shuggy Bane, I was like, yes. But no.
When I read the description, I was like, just what came into my mind was like Shuggy Bane and Young Mungo, but in Belfast.
Yeah.
Instead of Scotland.
So I'd say that one's pretty far down my list. The New Life. I've heard lots of positive reviews for The New Life, but I actually don't know what it's about. Does anyone know what it's about?
I think it's historical fiction, and it's got again queer, and I can't remember.
It's set at the time of Oscar Wilde's trial, isn't it? And the suffragette movement, possibly.
Okay.
And all I've written down apart from that is exploring themes of personal freedom. So I think that may also be. I think I read it was another queer love story, but I could be wrong.
I know loads of people were touting that for the Booker, weren't they? So that was kind of like that was another one that loads of people thought was a shoo-in for the Booker this year. But
I think that the 2 main male characters are writers. I think they write a book together. So my concern with this is it's kind of given me House of Doors vibes. So
I know how much you love that one.
yeah. So far, I feel like I've been a real negative Nelly
No.
about the debut thing, but I'm not 100% sold on those two. And also, they seem quite similar in themes. Do you know what I mean?
Charlie said to me. Charlie told me something about the new life as well. He said that there's a bit at the beginning where there's like bodily fluids. He didn't go into specifics. So, but it's kind of like I do not cope well with bodily fluids in books. Like there was an audio book I listened to recently, side note, that put like I nearly DNF'd because of that. I just cannot like. So it's just like I'm like that's why I haven't been drawn to picking it up. I don't know much more about it. But yeah, loads of people have loved it again.
A literary exploration of love and self-acceptance in 1894 London, and it's queer fiction. So this is the new life, yeah?
Yeah, queer fiction. Yeah.
Ariane thinks you did a good job covering it, Alice. Good work. Your notes were solid notes.
My excellent one line of notes.
Okay, Amelia actually owns the 5 Sorry and Fault Mysteries of Andy Africa. Which is interesting because I'd never heard of it before, and I'm now super excited for it.
I know it's set with it's a coming of age against the shadow of colonialism and the communal violence of Nigeria. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, so I think it covers like religious tension in a small town in Nigeria. So I think the main character is Catholic, and like the northern Nigeria is predominantly Muslim. So which I didn't even know before I read the blurb of this book, and so I'm really excited for that. And I really enjoyed A Spell of Good Things this year by Ayobami Adebayo, and I just really enjoy African fiction. So
yeah, this is one I would be excited to read. Totally. This is the out of the 4 I've heard of the names of all 4 of these books on this shortlist, but the specific, but I haven't. This is the one I know least about out of the. I think I've heard someone had touted this again, like I said to you guys beforehand. I've heard someone predicted this on their book of predictions. I cannot remember who, but yeah, I only remember the names because I remember because that's quite an unusual name, isn't it? So
yeah. I have to say, when I first saw it, I was like, what is that? It's got a picture of Marilyn Monroe on the front. That's not going to be for me. And then when I read the blurb, I was like, do not judge a book by its cover, Gemma. that was a bad call on my part.
And again, these books are all between 200 to 300 pages. None of them are super long, so they're all quite manageable.
Oh,
again.
Really?
Yep. The longest one, I think, is 384, and that's the new life.
Wow.
So they're all quite reasonable in terms of if you want to pick them up.
The Happy Knitter saying that she enjoyed the new life, or he. Sorry, I'm not sure if you're a she or a he. Interested. That was really sexist for me to assume that knitting was a woman, so I apologise. I enjoyed the new life. Interesting insight into their complex experiences at that time. Yeah, a lot of people have said it's really good. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be like House of Doors, because I really didn't like that. Literary Review gave the historical fiction debut one a glowing review.
Exciting.
That's good. Oh wait, what? Bodily fluids?
That's about Tom Cruise one.
That one. I was like, how have we descended into bodily fluids already?
No, it's because of me. It's me. It's always with Charlie.
It's because we invited Charlie. Yeah, Katia saying that's the one that she's most excited for. Set in Nigeria. The author lives in Norwich, so not far from me. Or me, Katia. Not far from me either. Me and Katia still need to meet up for lunch. She only lives about an hour away from me.
That's fun.
So that leaves the last one on this list, which is Sunburn, which is another Irish fiction set in the 90s.
I nearly picked this one up when we went to the BookTube meetup when did we do that? Anyway, I nearly picked it up then because I saw it was in so it was in Gay's the Word, and I was like this close to picking it up, but I was like, oh, because it was sort of on the cusp end of summer. So, and I really want to read this book in summer. I don't think I'm going to get to this year, so I will put it off to the next summer because I have to read. I can't read a book in summer in winter. Sorry.
Oh, I can. Have you got any notes on this one, Alice?
You need summary books to make you feel like it's summer, even though you're freezing cold. I have written down First Love, coming of age, set in the 1990s in a small Irish town.
Yeah, an Irish novelist again.
That's all I have. I
do like coming of age, but I'm sure I just saw the word angst on the blurb somewhere.
You probably did.
And I thought someone had said there was like a mystery to it, because I'm sure someone, when they were talking about this, said there was like a mystery to this, but on the blurb there's nothing about that, so maybe I'm imagining that incorrectly.
There is another one set in Ireland in the 1990s in the fiction category that sounds a bit more mystery-ish than this.
Oh, so maybe it's that then. Maybe I'm confusing
that.
Jess is saying, wow, so many Irish books. Yes, lots of Irish fiction this year. For this prize and for the Booker. So, yeah, no Canadian stuff, Jess, I'm afraid.
At least there's not very many Pauls on this one.
Sorry? Oh, is there not?
At least there's not many people called Paul on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are you saying about the fact there's 4 Irish novelists?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Katia saying Sunburn, a compelling sapphic love story set in the 90s Ireland. So, I mean, it could be good, or it could be really samey, because it feels like it's a quite safe premise, you know? So,
but it's debut, so, you know.
Oh, Jess is just shouting out Study for Obedience here, but it wasn't nominated for this prize, but was for the Booker. So, yeah, one Canadian book has made it onto a prize list this year. No, that's not even true, is it? Because Children of Paradise was on the Women's Prize. That was a Canadian author, wasn't it?
Yes.
I can't remember now.
Kieran's
Lots of bodily fluids in that one as well, though.
Prize. It does. Get with the programme, Kieran. Jess, I've really liked the Irish writers I've read this year. I haven't. What is this? Cat orange whistling. Is this?
It must be an emoji that is not working.
I think it's an emoji that we can't see for some reason.
Why is there an orange whistling cat emoji? I've never seen that before in my life.
I think it might be one of the like YouTube special ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I feel like I'm gonna have to go and look on my phone now to see what that looks like. Oh yes, just saying that was a strange book. Yes. Children of Paradise was very, very strange.
That grossed me out a little bit. But I liked it as well a little bit, but yeah. It put you off. It's make you see the cinema in a different way.
Oh. I'd rather not relive that, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm having bad flashbacks now.
Again. Yeah.
Honestly, I had a flashback when I read the book I read recently. Oh.
Really?
It was a non-fiction.
I tried to bring it up on my phone so that I could see what the orange whistling cat emoji was, but the volume was up really loud, and then I've got like a weird.
That scarred me.
Oh dear. So was that it for the debut?
I think so.
Okay, so we're going to move to non-fiction now. I was super excited for non-fiction because I was hoping that it would give me lots of ideas for the Women's Prize non-fiction category next year. And so I was super delighted to see that it was 4 female authors nominated in
That's the
non-fiction.
first thing I thought, actually, when I saw it. That's the first thing I thought, because when I've been Googling, I've been trying to Google to try and like ahead of the game of this to see what like the non-fiction everyone's talking about. And most of the non-fiction that gets recommended on these lists are all by men.
Yeah.
So I was like 4 women on this list. I was like so surprised, but yeah, really good to see.
We're just having a little talk about Children of Paradise in the comments. Jennifer says, I liked Children of Paradise. This does not surprise me. When me and Jennifer agree on a book, it's like a full moon has come out. And Happiness is saying Camilla Grudova's new short story collection called Serpent is great. I really dislike short story collections, but Charlie, you like them, and Alice, you don't mind them either, do you?
I like short stories.
I always want to like them, Jem, and I never get on with them. So I think Alice is the one to talk to you about this.
I do try. I did like The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. That's probably the only one I can say that about.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, we get distracted. Non-fiction. So Alice has read one from this category.
Have we had a prize yet this year where I've actually read a book when it's come to the long list?
We have now.
I'm excited and I'm taking it as a win, even though I actually finished the book yesterday.
Yeah, still before the list came out. Just.
And this particular one that you were saying about the books in my bag. This won the non-fiction category for the books in my bag.
It did win.
Did it? Are you going to pay everyone out of the misery and tell them what book you read?
Oh yeah, it was Strong Female Character by Fern Brady, which was very good. Recommend.
What's it about?
So it's Fern Brady's memoir. It's also come up in the Goodreads humour category this year, because one of the only books I've read for that as well. But although it is funny and she is a comedian, it's also like her memoir about being diagnosed like in her 30s as autistic, and like her experiences with like growing up knowing that like her brain didn't think the way other people's brains maybe did, and her wondering why that was and why she kept trashing her house and things like that. And it was really, really sad, but also really, really very well written. Really good book. Yeah. And I listened to the audio, and I recommend the audio because she read it herself and it was cool. And I haven't actually ever watched her do any comedy, but I put on her best bits on Taskmaster after I finished it, and she was actually really, really funny.
Yeah, my kids love her from that. My kids, when Oscar saw the list I was writing and saw Fern Brady's name, Oscar's like, "Why is Fern Brady on there?" So yeah, because Oscar loves Fern Brady from Taskmaster.
It's a really good memoir.
Yeah.
I'm
We've
excited.
then got The Tidal Year by Freya Bromley.
I've got a fun fact about this one.
Oh, tell me.
Kathy Rensenbrake did a blurb for it. It's not really a fun fact, but the fact that I know Alice loves Kathy Rensenbrake and it's got a blurb by Kathy Rensenbrake, I'm like, well, there you go.
Does. Kathy, who Alice has met, says immersive.
You've met her as well.
Yeah, you best friends.
I read it in a single day. Everyone should take a plunge into this book. That's what Kathy says.
And fun fact about Kathy Rensenbrink and this book is that Kathy Rensenbrink really likes swimming in the sea, and this is about wild swimming. So
yeah,
it should be a book she would like.
And there's an exploration of grief as well. That's what I saw.
Yeah, grief, swimming, and sisterhood. So
sounds good.
It does sound good, and I'm one of those people. I love the idea of wild swimming, but like the reality of it, not so much. But maybe one day when I become a real adult, that I'll try it.
When you become a real adult.
I would just drown, to be honest. If that was me, I'd just drown. I don't swim strong enough to be able to try wild swimming.
I'm not a very strong swimmer.
Oh, but I remember story time. I remember when I did like a 5 or 6K like monster run thing one year, and it was like March, but it was snowing, and they had this big pool that had been like artificially filled through metal pipes, and you had to jump in and then like swim across it and like underneath. Anyway, like an idiot, I thought, oh, I'll be able to touch the bottom. Jumped in, could not touch the bottom, and this pool was, no word of a lie, about minus 100 degrees, and I could not breathe. And so ever since then, I'm like, no, why would anyone do that? Get into cold water. I don't care how good it is for your bloody circulatory system. I thought I was going to legitimately die in that pool.
I have heard things about cold water though in your body, because like apparently there's like a level of degrees where it can legitimately kill you, like legitimately. So you could have died.
Honestly, I was having like a panic attack in this water. I've gone on a real tangent, but I just thought
we do. This wouldn't be a pod thing. It wouldn't be a pod thing if we weren't going on tangents, mate.
Indeed. At least we're not talking about anyway.
No.
So Jennifer's saying that she has Grudeva's previous collection. Yeah, you have to let us know what that's like, Jennifer.
I wouldn't mind reading that.
Yeah, I would. Amelia said, I'm really interested in reading the title year. Never heard of that one before. No, I hadn't heard of it before.
I hadn't heard of it, but it does sound interesting.
It does, but it's the only one that I can't get on Scribd or Libby or at the library. I can't, so I would have to buy it.
Yeah, I don't think I was able to get it either. I think that's the one I couldn't get.
No, and I know that Scribd isn't called Scribd anymore, by the way, but I keep forgetting what it's actually called.
I know I'm the same. Yeah, I feel like all of the not all of them, but yeah, I've lost my chain of thought. I've just heard bad outside. Sorry. My thought just went out of my head. Then sorry. Carry on.
Amelia saying, after reading 2 articles by Victoria Smith today, I'm definitely not going to read Hags. So we'll talk about Hags in a minute.
You have thoughts?
I don't think we're going to go into the details of Victoria Smith today, but I mean, it's readily available for people if you want to know what the issue is with that author. She is problematic. Katya used to go wild swimming in her 20s and now love the idea of wild swimming, but not with the current water quality issue. Yeah, to be fair, my husband works for Anglian Water in the poo division. So there's like a clean division and a not clean division. He works in the not clean division. And some of the stories he comes back with, it does make you think, oh God, I'm never going in a river again, I have to say. So yeah.
This is why I'm not outdoorsy.
Yeah, safe at home.
I'll happily curl up with any of these books that are about nature, but I'd rather not go near the actual nature.
I like the idea of it. I even like the idea of like swimming wildly, but it's the practicality of it. I know I would just die, and I was just, it's not, yeah. I'm not built for these things.
And like, it's cold.
Yeah,
I don't know what the sea is like down your way, Alice. You're not really near the sea, are you, Charlie? But like the sea where I live is brown, like actually brown.
Ew.
It's really unattractive.
There's been a lot of like sewage getting into the sea problems in Kent, like over the last year. So yeah, I don't think I would. But I have swum in the sea as a child in like Galston and Great Yarmouth.
Oh.
I swim in the sea on holiday.
Yeah, I used to when I was younger.
When the sea is the right colour.
Not brown. Never swim in brown.
That's really not good. So yeah. So the next one in the non-fiction category is Undercurrent by Natasha Carthew, a Cornish memoir of poverty, nature and resilience.
This is another one that I really think I'm so interested in. The top 3 I'm really interested in. They just sound so good. Like, you always love a discussion talking about like class and stuff like that and all the issues to do with it, because I don't think there's enough non-fiction, especially written by women, and like discussing things like this. So yeah, I think it'd be a good one.
I like the nature element again as well. I do like a good nature non-fiction.
Yeah, same.
And Kate Moss blurbed it, so this is one I'm thinking, could it be another? This could be a women's prize one. This is like probably out of all of them. I mean, honestly, surely that gives it a head start at least. I know it's non-fiction, but surely,
Sadly, the Fern Brady I don't think was published at the right time to be on the women's prize.
Oh no, not the non-fiction. Is the non-fiction dates different as well? Do we know the dates, the eligible dates?
I think it's the same time frame though.
Because it's being done earlier. That's why I was like not sure. There's some of them.
But even if it's a little bit earlier, I think she still won't be in the window.
That's annoying.
So,
That is annoying.
yeah, I like the sound of the fact that in the Cornwall one, it's in 4 sections and one is named after each element. I like that
that's
idea as
good.
well.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Again, that would be another good audiobook, I think.
Mm. And I think it's also one that, now that it's on the list, I'm interested in it. But had I seen it just like in the shop, I would have walked straight past it. So
yeah, probably same.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued for that one. Just
and none of the non-fiction is super long either. That's another thing I was going to note again, because I've got all the page lengths down. Sometimes people associate non-fiction with being super long, and none of them are above. The longest is 448 pages, which is the tidal year.
That's quite long, mate.
I mean, considering like some non-fictions.
The Fern Brady audiobook is really short. It was only 6 hours.
Was it?
Yeah, that's 288
That's one of the reasons
pages.
why I picked it up, because I needed a short audiobook.
Just saying, I'm from Nova Scotia, so we always swam in the sea despite it being so cold. That cool. Is crazy. You're talking crazy. Amelia, I'm less interested in the swimming aspect of the tidal year, but then it's about grief.
Yeah, I'm interested in that aspect as well.
Yeah, it's got a lot of interesting elements, I think, the tidal year. I think that'll be a really good book, actually. Undercurrent and the tidal year have similar themes, yes, and even from the same publisher. Did not know that. They both appeal to me. I'll have to look into the Hags person. Yeah. Again, though, I kind of wish they'd got like 4 completely different books, because those two do sound very similar.
It does seem to be a bit of overlap.
A list of 4, you know. So had it been a bigger list, I would have had less of an issue with 2 very similar books. But
is it only 3 judges per category as well, though? So
yeah,
possibly like the 3 of them were like, maybe 2 different people brought different ones to the table. I don't know how it works.
Yeah,
and they were both quite similar, but they liked them. I don't know.
Yeah. And then the last one in this category is obviously Hags, the Demonization of Middle-Aged Women by Victoria Smith. So my understanding is this is sort of witchy vibes, is it?
That's what I initially thought it was, yeah. But I don't know whether, sort of an exploration about, it's sort of like a feminist, there's meant to be feminist themes running over, but there's questions around that feminism. I think this is the issue. It's not just loads of people are like saying about this particular author, which for me it would put me off reading the book, being honest. But it's not just the for me anyway. It's not just the author being problematic. Apparently, from what I've heard, I haven't read the book, so I cannot possibly say this. But yeah, apparently it's actually, this book is kind of has those things running within it. Apparently, from what so just letting people know what I know myself.
I get the impression it's about like younger women not respecting and being nice about older women, middle-aged women.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the subject sounds interesting. I have to say, if it's a problematic author, that probably means that it will go to the bottom of my pile, and we know that I never get to the bottom of my pile. So,
there's too many books to get to. It's like
there are too many books to get to.
The bottom of your pile must be at like some sort of never-ending pit that like interchanges.
Mariana Trench.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. It is bad.
Yeah.
So that takes us to the last, and some may say the most exciting category.
I think it's the most exciting category. Well, I did originally think the non-fiction would be, but actually when I've looked at it, I'm like, oh, actually, these are all good books.
And I think we've got another 2 Irish authors here, have we? Is Megan Nolan Irish?
Yes, she is. Yeah, she is.
And that one is set in Ireland in the 1990s also.
Yeah, the 1990s, yeah. I've got that written down. It's not me freezing, it's her, isn't it? It's not just a thing, I'm just like worrying about it.
Maybe we'll talk, what notes have you got, Alice?
Yes, Alice.
On what?
Ordinary Human Failings.
I I have got dark, intergenerational trauma, suspenseful, Ireland 1990s. I was literally picking out words by the time we got to this category.
I know, but did you just pick out all of my favourite words?
No, all of my favourite words.
I was like,
no, I did pick intergenerational trauma for you, obviously, but
thank you.
The other words were for me.
Yeah.
I knew you two would eat up the intergenerational trauma.
Oh yeah, we love that. We love that. But I've been meaning to get to Megan Nolan for a while. I've got another couple of books of hers on my TBR because I've heard she is just really dark.
What else
how I've heard about her is from Acts of Desperation.
Acts of Desperation. Yeah, that's.
I haven't read that, but I think is it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mercedes has talked about this author before on her channel. Mercy's Bookish Musings.
So yeah, that one sounds like gem and catnip.
It does sound really good. It does.
It does. So excited for that. We've got Burnham Wood, the one everyone thought was going to be nominated for the Booker.
Another Booker. What one?
And the women's. I feel like we first mentioned this back when we were listing books that might get.
That's true, actually.
Listed for that. And
it did get listed for the Giller though, and shortlisted, longlisted, then shortlisted for the Giller. I'm fairly certain. If you're still here, Jess, you can confirm or deny that.
But when we first started planning the plod along, and you both said I must make a predictions list, that might have even been on my predictions, and I have been. It has been on my radar ever since then. I'm mildly interested.
And I'm fairly certain Scott's read this and loved it, didn't he? So
Scott really loved it, but I have had some mixed reviews on it. But I mean, the fact that it's about a guerrilla gardening group, just like that does pique my interest, I have to say. And it's got like ecological commentary, which sounds interesting to me.
No, that sort of turns me off a little bit. Those words will make me go, ugh.
And is it also mildly apocalyptic?
Yeah, I think maybe.
I think it might be.
But loads of people most people that I have heard read it say good things about it. So,
So yeah, it is one that I've been sort of wanting to get to for a while.
I think it's quite long sections though, because I did get it from the library and I started flicking through it, and the sections are really long, which again, I don't have any patience.
Yeah, I do prefer a short chapter, I have to say.
They're really long sections. Not that long, but to me they were.
Kate saying she really wants to read a strong female character, had nothing but good things. Yeah, sounds like it's a goodie. It's got the Alice seal of approval. Jess saying, what's the issue? I'm out of the loop. I'll message you, Jess. Amelia, I'm currently reading The Bee Sting, and I'm interested in the Megan Nolan because I read Acts of Desperation lately and really liked it. So yeah, I'm really keen on that. Yay for Irish authors. I've heard they have a very good literary grants program. I didn't know that.
Oh, there you go.
Amelia also have Burnham Wood on hold for quite a while already, but it's not on the top of my reading list currently. Yeah, it hasn't been on the top of my reading list, which is why I haven't got to it yet, but I am interested. And yes, right, it was nominated for the Giller. And Jess really liked it.
Oh,
so
that's
another thumbs up.
That's really good. So that kind of stuff does make me more interested.
I keep putting Burnham Wood on hold at the library and keep taking it off for some reason. Oh dear, don't worry. I'll keep putting holds on, picking them up, keeping them for 3 weeks, and then taking them home back to the library again. It's like it's
a waste of £1.
I'd have to pay for mine. Yeah, well, that's a bad thing though, because I just currently have 20 books out from the library. It's really
that continuous cycle of like getting them out and taking them back is really, really good for the library.
Yeah,
exactly. That's why I do it, Alex.
You're doing them a favour.
Happy Knitter saying Burning Wood would be better as a film as it's so cinematic. Interesting.
Still does make me intrigued. Or DNF.
Oh, no, it's a DNF'd it, so it could be a favourite of the year, guys.
There
Could
you
be a
go.
favourite of
Prediction
the
here.
year.
Let's sort it here first.
Ordinary human, an intricate web of human relationships set in 1990s London, and something about an Irish family who keep to themselves are singled out for suspicion when a crime occurs.
This is what you were. Is this the one you were saying about, Alice, when you said about the mystery element?
Yeah, well, I was just wondering if there was a bit of a mystery element to it. Yeah, but I love the sound of it. I think it's probably the one I like the sound of most out of the category.
Beasting. You should all read the Beasting. I know we're going to get to that in a second. I loved the Beasting.
We will get to it. We will get to it. About an evil billionaire. This is about Burnham Wood, not the.
So that didn't put me off again. I don't want I just can't be. Oh no, that's like no.
Doing evil anti-environmental things. That sounds brilliant. Charlie, what is wrong? You literally read the most boring Irish book on the planet and loved it, and you don't want evil anti-environmental billionaires.
No.
You need to get your priorities right.
I love that little Irish book you're wanging on that you're saying about.
Just having a little dig at trespassers here, guys. It's fine. Cassie, loving the sound of Burnham Wood. Oh, Jack's here. Hi, Jack.
It's our fave.
And you've finished work. That is good news. Good news. Ariane also most interested in Ordinary Human Failings. I think actually that's got potential to be a favourite or a most wanting to read. That was really badly phrased, but you know what I mean.
And that could again be women's prizey. It does sound quite women's prizey as well, doesn't it?
I'm sure she's been nominated before, Megan Nolan.
Does sound familiar.
And a guerrilla group that is fractured between wanting to work with him and those that don't want to join him. Actually, you are selling it to me. You are selling it to me. Hey! Just giving some love for the Beasting.
I love that.
Oh, and Jennifer giving love for the Beasting.
Did you just see I hit celebrations in the background? What the hell?
Yeah, how did you do that?
What?
And then it went like. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't do anything.
I did. It was like fireworks in the background. I went like this, and then it went.
There they are again.
Are you on your iPhone, Charlie?
It's like I'm on the Mac, but yeah.
I think it's had an update. It's like a new thing. Can you do it again once more, just for like?
Hey!
I'm gonna love this. This is a lot of power.
The simple things in life that cheer us up. Maybe read the triggers for Ordinary Human Failings. Okay, noted. So yeah, we haven't talked about the Beasting. The big chunky boy.
The chunky elephant in the chunky room.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Charlie.
It's a sort of a family story, but there's also, I feel like there's enough plot in it as well to kind of keep the pages turning. The only thing I would warn you with this one is that the first chapter, I started the first chapter of it, and I was like, the first chapter is the teenage girl, and that it was irritating me to begin with, being honest. So once I got through her chapter and then I went on to the other chapter, the next chapter, I was hooked and I fell in love much more. And it was, but yeah, the initial chapter, I was just with the teenage girl. It's sort of, I can't remember her name even, and my brain is so mushy. Yeah, for some reason it took me a little while to get into, but yeah, like only from that. But yeah, I loved it. Loved that book. And there are debates
about a lot of praise, to be fair. Just the size of it just puts me off.
Yeah, I just still can't be bothered with it.
No, it's really good. I feel like I raced through it as well. So, yeah.
To be fair, Jess is saying it's big, but it reads fast.
Yeah, I feel like it. I'm sure. What does Scott say? I'm sure Scott said something about it building. It builds, and then like before you know it, it sort of carries away with it. You get carried up. Like, do you know what I mean? Builds and builds and builds, and then it sort of.
It's
Cat.
also the one I'm
That
least
is
likely to be able to get from the library because it's still got about 200 holds on it or something.
Yeah, I've put it on hold again at the library. I have already had it out once.
The audio book's amazing. That's what I listened to predominantly. I did have the physical book as well from the library, but I mostly audio booked it. And Imelda's chapters, I remember distinctly being tired, so I was listening to the audiobook. And I remember if you watch, everyone go watch Jennifer Loves Books because she's done a review of it. I think you did a review of it in this one, did you? I'm fairly certain this month's one, and the October wrap up. And people say about her lack of punctuation for that section, for Imelda's sections. So people, it sort of interrupts the flow when you're reading it physically. Just be aware of it. But yeah.
Okay. Also, just saying, I might be thinking about Nisha Dalin. Exciting times. I might well be thinking about Nisha Dalin. Very different people. Oh dear. And so that brings us to the last book in fiction, which I think we're actually all very excited about, because I don't think any of us had heard of this before.
No,
15 Wild Decembers by Karen Powell. And this is about the Brontes. That's all I know. So someone else is going to have to fill in with a bit more.
Well, you can say the only things that I have to note about it, you can say about the complete plot, Alice, because you've got an amazing summary, is that the thing I found out about having from the blurb of this is that it says about it's Emily Bronte and her 4 sisters and 1 brother. So obviously I didn't realise that there were 5 Bronte girls. And because obviously we all think of Anne, obviously Charlotte and Emily. And actually there were in fact 2 others. We've got Maria, who is the eldest, and Elizabeth, who is the second eldest. And Alice can fill us in some more information because you said when you discovered it when you Googled it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did just Google it, and they sadly died really young. I think when all the girls were at like a school, they all had tuberculosis or something and died.
So that's why we don't know about them.
Sad. But yeah, I think it's more particularly about Emily, isn't it? And the 15 Wild Decembers title is taken from one of her poems, apparently.
Have you read any of her poetry, Charlie? Yeah.
I think I've got some of her poetry on the shelf somewhere. Emily's read it as well. I'm sure she has. That's the kind of thing Emily would have read. But yeah.
Yeah, but it definitely sounds up my alley. I loved Wuthering Heights, so I'm really intrigued to see more about Emily Bronte's life. I know, Alice, you're like the other Marmite opinion.
Yeah, well, I can't stand Wuthering Heights, but I am actually interested in this book.
And it's family. Is it family? You assume it must be family. If it's saying about her sisters, assuming then maybe you're going to get some family exploration.
And I just think the Bronte, the whole setup of the Brontes is really, really intriguing to me.
Agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So yeah, it'll be. I think that'll be a really great read.
And it's something a bit different, isn't it? I feel like. Yeah, it's fiction.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's a fictionalized imagining of their lives, I think.
Yeah. But by the sounds of it, she had a pretty rough life. Her mother died when she was quite young. They were raised by their dad.
He was an alcoholic, wasn't he? I'm sure. I think.
Yeah, I think they lived in like quite an isolated place. So, like a made-up book about everyone. Yes, but I think it's based on like true beats of her life. Ariane says it does sound interesting. Yeah, so really, really intrigued by that one. I don't know what the availability is of these books in other countries. Obviously, there's quite a few on here that are Booker books and that have been out for a little while. So I would assume that they're all quite accessible. But like I say, the only one that I can't get from any of my apps, my many, many apps of free books, is the Tidal Year. So, but I would have thought libraries will probably get it in now that it's been populated. So.
Yeah, none of the non-fiction are available to me very easily, other than I have to pay for them. So, which is slightly frustrating for me. But the rest of them I think are hopefully be easy enough to get hold of.
Yeah.
Normally, when we get a new prize out, the libraries sort of order them in within the first few weeks, don't they?
Yeah, I definitely want to request the Fern Brady because there's just so much about it. Your praise alone as well, Alice, and it just sounds really good. So yeah.
So which one do you think you will start with, Charlie?
Ooh, well, I've got some on me app, on me Everend scribed app thing. I think possibly the one we just said about the Decembers, because I think that's on there. Yeah, 15 more Decembers.
Yeah, I think I might start with that as well for the same reason.
And then
Alice?
if I can, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No. Yes, yeah, that's fine. That's it.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll pick anything up immediately.
Controversial.
Some of us have trouble with TBRs, you know.
Alice, we all do. That is just you're the only one that does anything about it.
Yeah, but I am trying quite hard to do something about it. And also I got 5 books out of the library yesterday.
Confession.
Yeah. I mean, if I was to see one of them just like on a library shelf or something, or on Libby, if I accidentally looked it up on Libby, then I would get it.
So, what is everyone in the comments going to pick up first?
Yeah. Let us know. What have you? So yeah, how many have you guys read? Let us know how many you've read out of the lists, because like we said, I've only read 2 and a bit, or 2 and 3/4.
Well, it's 2 and 3/4 more than me.
Yeah, but out of 60.
Jess is saying that she's been to the Bronte Parsonage. That's really cool.
Ooh.
And I'm tiring too fast.
Honestly, don't worry, lovely. We can translate.
We know what you mean. We know what you mean. Jess really wanted to read the Megan Nolan.
I'd like
quick fire. Which one do you think is going to win from the children's category? Charlie?
I'm going to say Wild Song.
Alice?
I'm going to say Gwen and Art Are Not in Love.
Oh, I'm going to agree with Charlie. I think Wild Song. Debut fiction, Alice. Who's going to win?
Quick fire.
Oh, I think The New Life.
Ooh.
I'm going to say the Andy Africa one.
I'm going to agree with Charlie again. I swear I'm not cheating.
Throw me under a bus here.
Non-fiction, Charlie.
Well, this is harder to pick the winner. I would probably say The Total Year.
Alice?
I'm going strong female character.
I'm going to go strong female character as well on this one. And then fiction. Alice?
I think Burnham Wood.
Ooh.
Bound to get one of the prizes, right?
Yeah.
There is only one for me. It's The Beasting, because I bloody love that book. So.
Oh, and I'm going to go different this time. I'm going to go for the Megan Nolan. So
I would have said the 15 more Decembers as maybe as my second choice, but we don't have second choices.
Yeah. To be fair, I think I'll like all 4 of those.
They're all really good.
It's a strong category.
It is a strong category.
There's nothing that looks.
I mean, without having read any of them.
No, enough.
Catches read 0, but plans to read 8. Yeah. I'd like to get through as many as I can, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah, the winners. The dates are, so I think I've got the dates written down
16th of January, I think, is
16th of January for the category winners, and then there is no official date on the website for the overall winner. I think it says it's the end of February.
February, doesn't it?
Yeah. It says end of February. People are saying.
We'll pick that up in the plods.
Yeah, you'll definitely be commenting on it, definitely, for sure.
Katya, agree with Charlie too for the children and debut, but with Alice on strong female character. Yeah. Kate, I might start the Beasting tomorrow. Good work.
It's so good. It's just so good.
I need something absorbing. The Bronte book sounds interesting. Yeah. Just finished the Just
With the bee sting, my heart actually raced. I was literally, there's a point in it. I literally, my heart was racing, and I was messaging Charlie because I was genuinely scared. Like genuinely scared. There's a bit of like.
Oh dear. Kate just finished the Tenant of Wildfire Hall and loved it. Yeah, I was supposed to be joining in for that buddy read, and I still haven't started it, and it finished about 3 weeks ago.
I didn't like the ending of it though. But I was really depressed, so and life was a bit crazy, so I don't know if it was that. But then I watched our lovely Jack, and she kind of agreed with me. So I was like, well, maybe it's not my brain.
Awesome book.
Yeah, it's not string female character. Oh dear. I read the bee sting, not string, and the word. So only 2 fiction for me. Oh, you're doing well, Jess.
That's really good.
Living the dream. Would choose the bee sting over Burning Wood, but it would be a tough choice.
Just because it's a heart book, I feel like the bee sting, like even though, because like obviously with in terms of Booker, like the Prophet Song, when I immediately read not a Prophet Song, I kind of like loved it. I thought I'd loved it more, and I ranked it higher. But the bee stings kind of lingered with me more, and it's just got so much heart to it.
Oh dear. Jess wondering if she'll be able to get hold of the other 2. What is so Karen Powell is a British author, yeah.
Must be so frustrating for you guys that are abroad, because it was disgusting with the Booker how late everything got published over your end and stuff, wasn't it? So that just kind of is like,
yeah, there were a lot of books. I mean, I think Prophet Song possibly still isn't available till December in the States, is it?
Oh, really?
I don't know. I might have made that up, to be fair.
No, I think it's being published fairly soon. If not, like you said, it's soon, but still, yeah, it's terrible.
It is sometimes, yeah. So yes. I think thank you very much to everyone for joining us and chatting about the Nero Book Awards. We're all very excited.
And I recommend Catcher's video because I watched it before we came on here, and it was a very good summary of the books. If you want more after this,
definitely going to go watch that.
Oh, good work, Katya. So yeah, we're not going to stick around too long tonight because I think we're all a bit tired. But we have loved speaking to you guys again. And yeah, details on Women's Prize Plod Along will be available in the new year once.
And if anyone wants to be a host, you're welcome to just try your luck and ask and message us if you want.
Yeah, just DM us and we'll figure it out. Oh, yeah. Right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming.